What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new rebuild, and today it's going to be Tottenham Hotspur. We've done a lot of small teams recently. I thought, you know what, let's throw Tottenham into the mix, try and win them a Champions League, and to be fair, try and win every trophy in one season. If you do enjoy the rebuilds, be sure to leave that like and leave a comment below what you want to see next. And again, all these rebuild files and the tactics are over on that Patreon, where you can go and join the other 4,500 people and gain over 13 perks. Let's go over and learn a little bit about Tottenham. This is Tottenham Hotspur inside of the game, a 4-star reputation. When it comes to training and facilities, they are going to be up there with the very best, because they are the very best at that. And I will say their stadium is absolutely magnificent, probably the best stadium in world football, so you got that going for you as well. That does come at quite a bit of debt. As you can see, they're over £1 billion in debt. Our focus is not to clear that, but to win them something that shines in that stadium. A Champions League trophy would do that. Now, of course, going to the overview, they have won a fair few trophies despite the means being spread around. 2 Premier Divisions, 1 European Cup, 2 Europa Leagues, 8 FA Cups, 2 Sky Bet Championships, 4 Carabao Cups, and 7 Community Shields. They have won a fair bit, but as you can see, there is no Champions League, and there is definitely no recent Premier League trophy. Now, going over to the tactic we're going to be using, I am going to be using a basic 4-3-3, a Gegenpress 4-3-3, because I think it suits this team really, really well. And the overall idea, if we filter by the best 11, this might actually be it. It's not it. We are going to have Vicario, a very good goalkeeper. Porro and Udogie are incredible wingbacks. We don't even really need to change them for the entire rebuild, to be honest with you. Van der Ven, Romero, Basuma, Bentancur, Madison. This guy is the talisman of the team. If he plays well, this rebuild will actually be quite easy, to be honest. He just needs to play to the best of his ability. We've got Perisic, Kuleveski, and this man, Heung-min Son. Now, I am not going to sell him. I know in real life you could argue a couple more years he's going to be gone. I am going to try and win him that Champions League and many more trophies, because I don't want him being a Harry Kane, not winning anything at Tottenham Hotspur. He deserves it. So I'm going to keep him in the team. And going over to the bench, you've got some really decent players. I mean, bit of a debatable one, but Richarlison in this game's actually quite good, to be honest with you. And we can go down the list. You've got obviously Timo Werner, who I will not be buying permanently because he's awful. We then go to Emerson Royale, not a bad backup right back for now, at least. Lo Celso, Dragusin, you've obviously got Solomon, who I don't like in the game, so I will be selling. I really do not enjoy using him, so he is going to be gone. We've got Brian Gill, he is going to be gone. I don't really like him in the game either. So the good thing about this is you actually have got a few players you can offload as well to generate more money to bring in better players. Now, of course, for the first transfer window, I never sign anyone. If you are playing back home, you've got a budget of 5.7 million. To be fair, you could probably raise it up to about 40 million by selling some of the deadwood in the team. Now, I will also like to say the likes of Eric Dyer is going to be definitely leaving on the permanent as well. Reguilon, I'm going to keep for now as a backup. Troy Power, I don't really want to use. Rodon can go. Tanganga can go. Jed Spence can stay for now, see how he develops. Perisic is going anyway, which I would have done because he's absolutely diabolical. But overall, I'm quite confident with this team and this tactic. Of course, in that first season, they are going to be predicted a finish of 7th place, which I think is very harsh. Now, I don't think we're going to win the Premier League in the first season. If we do, then clearly I've created another incredible tactic. But let's go over and get into Season 1 and see what we can do. It's not a bad display in the Carabao Cup in Season 1. We get all the way to the semi-finals, but unfortunately, Manchester United a little bit too strong, 3-2 on aggregate. Season 1, and we've already had an upset. We lose 3-1 to Derby, which is an absolute embarrassment. What isn't an embarrassment, though, is we did not finish 7th. We finished 1st. We won the Premier League in our first season. Now, of course, this is not a long-term aim at all. The aim is to win the Champions League and try and do that quadruple winning season. But for Season 1 to win a Premier League title with 0 signings is a really good first season. And as you can see, we don't really have many standout players either, which tells me we either just about got the job done, although we are beating teams like Palace 6-0, or a lot of these games were very, very, very close, or maybe it was just such an equal contribution that loads of people have got sort of around the 15 goal mark. Kuleveski, second most assists, so that is something going for us, and also picking up the second most amount of clean sheets. But going over to that squad stat screen, we can go and get a bit of an understanding of what's going on right now. So it is similar to what I was saying, so 16, I mean, he's out on loan, Perisic, a decent season out on loan there. 13 for Madison, Kuleveski with 12, 11 for Richarlison, Bentancur with 11, 5 for Udogie, Romero with 5. Assist-wise as well, a few players contributing, but overall, this isn't going to be consistent. You can't win a lot of trophies playing this way. You need a lot more goals coming in, especially from Son. I'm expecting to see at least 25, to be honest with you, a player of his caliber. Madison's playing okay, but realistically, I want to see more assists. But there again, we need more goals for him to do that. So this is an okay entry season. It's nothing too special. The player's done I'm saying it's like they haven't done anything. They have just won the Premier League, but in terms of individual stats, it's nothing to write home about. Now, going into that second season, we have been given a budget of around a lot more than 43, £68 million, which is a fair budget to give us, and I do think there are definitely some areas we can improve. If we go over and look, for example, the squad's going to get smaller just by these players departing. So obviously, Werner's not going to be staying with us. Rodon's not. Tanganga, Troy Parrott, Perisic, Dyer, and Ndombele, Gill. A lot of players are going, and therefore I've got to bring players in. Now, if I can't seem to bring players in, these players will be lingering around for a little bit longer. But Solomon, another one that's going to be going. There's a lot of players that are going to be leaving this team because I don't think they're Champions League winning quality. Now, I will say as well, what we're going to try and do is keep it semi-realistic with the signings, but you know me, if I feel like there's a player on the market that needs to be brought in, then I will bring him in. This is a video game, and we're here to have a bit of fun. So let's get into Season 2 of the transfers after a very good, I guess, first season, apart from this cup here, the FA Cup, which we won't talk about. Let's get into Season 2 of the transfers. First up is going to be Solomon. He is going to be moving to Leicester City for £19.7 million. Not a bad bit of business, considering he was on the free. Delso is going to get his move to Hertha Berlin, and to be fair, do you know what? We have lost a bit of money, actually. Not good business, but the other bit of business we've done with Solomon sort of equals it out. He's going to go to Hertha for £8 million. Davies over in Italy now, playing for Lazio for £6.2 million. Again, it is a loss, but to be fair, look how long he was with us. Very hard player to sell in this game. Brian Gill is going to get a move to the Bundesliga, and he is going to be, I mean, again, it's another loss, but Tottenham really did overspend on some of these players. 13 million compared to 21.5 million that we did pay on him, but to be honest, do you know what? Brian Gill is just not going to be in this team. He is simply not good enough. I wasn't going to sell him right away, but do you know what? When you get an offer from the Saudi League of £58 million, finally a good bit of business, you have to take it for Højbjerg. He's a good player, but there are definitely better options on the market, so goodbye to Højbjerg. First player in is going to be Nicholas Seevold, coming in from RB Leipzig, 23 years of age, tons of potential, a really well-rounded midfield player. Again, sort of the Højbjerg replacement, a lot, 5 years younger, and very similar in terms of attributes, and definitely can become better. He cost us a total of £52 million, a nice profit there for RB Leipzig, but he is going to be a very good midfielder for the whole rebuild. I've gone out and done a big signing. I'm going to compare this to a Jadon Sancho signing because it can either work and I'm going to look like a genius, or he's going to rot on the bench and do nothing. I am hoping it's the first option. Calvin Stengs is going to come in. I have never signed him in a rebuild. I've forked out £79 million, 60 of that on instalment, I will say. So definitely one which needs to work, otherwise I'll put them in even further debt. But if this guy can play like he's been playing at Feyenoord, we have got a player here who can cover 3 positions very well and will definitely cause an issue. Can't really go wrong signing Diamande, and I wanted to sign a very risk-free signing that has got potential as well, and that is going to be this guy. You don't really need to talk about him. We've all signed him probably 20 times this year. £36 million is an absolute bargain for a player like him. Welcome in. Now, I want an all-and-out striker. I want some playing in on the left because I don't really think Richarlison is going to cut at first-team standard just yet. So we've turned to Santiago Jimenez, 23 years of age. If you do not know who this guy is, get to know because he is absolutely incredible. And I will say you pay the price tag of £71 million. Again, installments coming in. This guy is very similar to a Harry Kane. I'm not saying this is good, but he's not too quick, but he's got the finishing, he's got the composure, he's got the off-the-ball work, he's got it all going on. And I do think this guy is as close to a Harry Kane figure. And lastly, a player that I didn't sign but was already agreed, that is going to be Lucas Bergvall coming in, and he cost us, about £8.5 million. I will say a couple more players did go out, which I will show you now. So you can see here, we've got a loan going out, we've got Perisic on the free, Sessegnon on the free, Dyer going to Luton on the free, freeing up some wage, that is definitely to be said. We've got Austin going to Sunderland on the free, and also you can see a couple other players here for very small transfer fees, and also Alfie Dorrington going to Blackpool on loan. So overall, a lot of business being done in this transfer window, and the team now looks like this. This is going to be the team. So it is going to be Vicario, Porro, Diamande, Romero, Udogi, Basuma, Bentancur, Madison, Son, Kuleveski, and Santiago Jimenez up front. A very good team. Good wingers, good midfield, and a fantastic back line. And what I will say is now the squad's pretty tight knit. We definitely don't have as many players as we did before in the previous season, but we've got a backup goalkeeper. We have got a backup right back, several players. We've got backup left back and Regulon. We have got 4 centre backs. So I mean 5 centre backs actually. Midfield, we've got 3 here. We've also got Sarr, Seevold, Skip, and Ndombele. We've also got the likes of... Did I say Sarr? I think I said Sarr. We've got him. We've got Son, Kuleveski, The wingers is the only thing, actually, I will say. Now, we've got Richarlison, Johnson, and Troy Parrott as backup wingers. So that's the only area I probably didn't fully think about in terms of depth. So that might come to cost me. But sometimes in a rebuild, you need a bit of a fall-off season. That's your rebuild season. Up front, though, we're okay because, again, Son can play there, Richarlison can. Troy Parrott does not fill me with confidence at all. It's quite worrying. But overall, the team is looking very, very strong. Definitely the first team. And again, we are going to be playing in a lot more competitions now. 5 competitions. We are going to be playing in the Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, the Community Shield, and they are going to be predicting a finish of 6th place, which I think is quite harsh. We've just won the Premier League and we've improved the team. A very harsh prediction. But let's get into Season 2 and see if we can prove them wrong. Over to the FA Cup final, and do you know what? We had a great game here against Liverpool. Not a good start, though. They are going to make it 1-0 inside of 18 minutes. 20 minutes down the clock, though. Maddison back inside into Jimenez to make it 1-1, and one more goal coming before half-time, going in our favour to make it 2-1. Udogie back. It's a very strange goal, actually, but we're going to take it. A 2-1 lead, and we actually do lose the ball very high up here. Salah plays it in behind into Darwizzy. At this point, it is, of course, 2-2. But unfortunately, of all the players to score an own goal, it is going to be Trent it comes off in the end, and we are going to win 3-2. Also going to lift the Carabao Cup. That is 2 trophies so far in Season 2 against Fulham in 3-2 fashion. Community Shield didn't go our way, unfortunately. Tottenham not strong enough. Arsenal are going to win on penalties. As expected, the fall-off in the Premier League has already happened. I mean, Maddison put up a great season, but Erling Haaland, 41 goals alone, let alone the rest of the players in that team. A really strong season. We're 7 points off the top. I'm not too annoyed because we have already won some trophies at the end of the day, but it's a little bit annoying to fall off by 7 points, but it is what it is. At least we've got Sarr, Maddison performing well, Kulusevski as well. The most clean sheets. It's quite obvious where the weakness is. That is going to be the goal scoring. Oh, I forgot the Champions League. This is the Champions League final. Porro going into Bentancur, into Maddison to make it 1-0 inside of 10 minutes. Maddison again into Udogie, into Basuma, back into Udogie, ball in the box, into Jimenez. Champions League winners. That is right, I left it till the last. It is going to be Champions League winners, meaning we have won the Champions League, the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup. The video's not complete, though, because I want to win everything in one season, but we have finally got them a Champions League, and it took us 2 full seasons. 1 true season, because obviously we don't make transfers in the first season. A very, very strong performance, and what a season. And going over to the squad right now, you can see why we have done this. Jimenez enjoying a great season. 37 goals, Heung-min Son 35, 32 for Maddison, 21 for Kulusevski, Brennan Johnson with 9, 9 for Basuma, Sarr with 8, 6 for Seevald. Assist-wise, really good on the stat line here. 25, 19, 15, 14, 14, 11, 9, 9. Really good stats coming out of the team. And that is why, when you've got stats like this happening, that is why you can achieve things like this, because there are so many players that are getting involved in terms of assists, in terms of scoring goals. They are doing absolutely everything, and that is why we're able to do what we have done. Now, I would imagine it's a nice budget for Season 3, £69 million, more than that, £95 million to spend in the 3rd transfer window. And let's not forget, we have won a lot of trophies, but my aim here is to win literally everything in one season. I will say so far, if you are enjoying, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And if you want this rebuild file at the end, you can go and get it over on the Patreon with the tactic that we have used today. But let's go over into the 3rd transfer window and spend this very big budget and try and improve this team. I think now we've got to focus more on depth. So what I've done here is I brought in another goalkeeper similar to Vicario so they can have a nice battle, and we've got 2 goalkeepers for the future. That is going to be Mamardashvili. Now, off the rip, I don't think he's going to get in the first team. He's a little bit worse than Vicario in terms of the current ability, but a goalkeeper for the future, only 24 years of age, and he cost me only 19 million. Bushanemi, now don't worry, I have not broken the bank. He did not have a great season at Madrid, and I have taken a bit of a punt on him because I think he will play in our team every single game and become the player which we all know he can become. He's already incredible. Look at the attributes on the guy. I mean, incredible tackling, work rate, determination, stamina. He is a perfect sort of deeper midfielder, isn't he? He is an absolute dream in the game, and he cost me 40 million, which, to be honest, you can see how much Madrid paid for him. It's a steal. And we've gone and partnered in with João Neves. We have really focused on strengthening the midfield today, and I will say we have now got Maddison, Neves, we've got Basuma, we've got Tushanemi, we've got Sarr. Shall we just keep improving the midfield? I mean, our midfield is absolutely ridiculous. You pay big for this guy in £54 million, but at the end of the day, he is 20 years of age. He's already incredible. one for the future. You can't go wrong. Lastly, a signing I didn't make, but I probably might have done anyway because he is quite good. Luka Vuskovic coming in, and he cost us 11.7 million. Now, we have got rid of some players. You can see here Ndombele going out on the free. It's quite funny, actually. The players we're letting go, like Ndombele, are being replaced with Tuchel and João Neves. The projection is like that, a nice upwards arrow. We are bringing in so many big players, and going over to the tactics page, just look at the midfield. I mean, we've got Vicario, Porro, Diamande, Romero, Udogi, no changes there. Tuchel, Neves, Maddison, Son, Kuleveski and Jimenez. That is a Champions League winning team if I've seen one. Again, I will say, the bench still needs to have a little bit of improvement. And I'm going to say, let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Calvin Stengs, what is going on, mate? Because it's not a great first season. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's his first season in the Prem, and I'll also give him the benefit of the doubt that I do not lock in players. I don't agree with it as a concept. Unless you're doing purely like a Wonder Kid rebuild, then maybe you have to. But a real team, they rotate players, they give players chances. They don't just stick the same 11 in and you're away. So he's got to impress to get a shot in the first team. Now, it is quite hard. He's got Kuleveski and Son to compete with, but he can play in midfield as well. He's getting opportunities. You've got to make the most of it. Now, of course, we are playing in the same, or not the same, actually. We've got a Super Cup now. The Premier Division, the Champions League, the Super Cup, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and the Community Shield. That is 6 trophies, and we are going to be predicting a finish of around about 3rd place. So we really are pushing our way up the rankings, and this is a really good opportunity now to capture another 3 trophies minimum. I really do believe in this team. The players are there, the tactics there. Let's go and make it happen. The FA Cup got a little bit out of hand. Let's just say that we are going to be playing Fulham, and when I say it was a bit of an easy final, you'll see at the end why I said it. I mean, it was goal after goal. The pressure we were putting on this team was absolutely nuts. 2-0 inside of 20 minutes, and we just kept going. Look at this for a break, by the way. Richarlison inside into Heung-min Son to make it 3 in 39 minutes. And do you know what? Fulham, credit is due here, because they do get a goal back here to get one before half-time to make it 3-1, but they collapsed before half-time again. 44 minutes played. Neves into Son, a back heel from Son, one of the better assists I've ever seen, to make it 4. Maddison makes it 5 before half-time. We're now in the 64th minute. Tuchel into Maddison through 1-on-1 to make it 6. And there's still time for one more to wrap up this final 7-1. Maddison on the right into Son, back in the middle. It's embarrassment. We do lift the Super Cup 2-0 against Juventus. Finally, Community Shield winners 3-1 against Man City. Not going to be back-to-back Champions League, but nearly back-to-back final appearances in the Champions League. PSG, a little bit too strong on penalties. But we are back to winning the Premier League, and look at the gap. A 25-point gap now between us and Man City. Maddison still doing everything for the team. Vicario, again, picking up the most amount of clean sheets. But Kuleveski and Maddison are really the 2 key performers of this team so far. They've been absolutely incredible in what they do. So that does mean, to be honest, the only thing we didn't win, on top of obviously the Champions League, is going to be this Carabao Cup, which I think is at the quarterfinals. 2-0 defeat against Arsenal, which is what it is. We have won 1, 2, 3, 4 trophies, an additional 4 trophies in that Tottenham Hotspur trophy cabinet. We love to be seeing that, but we're going to need another one installed soon at this rate. A very, very strong season. And going over to this thing, again, we can see, I mean, it's okay. Jimenez has fallen off a little bit in terms of goals being scored. Maddison might be the best player in the game. He looks absolutely nuts now in terms of attributes. Son's still doing it at the age of 33. Jimenez, I'd like to see 30 goals from him next season. 18 and 21 for Kuleveski. Calvin Stengs. I might cash in on him and try and get half back. He's not doing it at all, is he? Tuchel enjoying a pretty average season. João Neves had a really good season, to be fair. 12 assists there for Pedro Porro, not too shabby there. Sarr had an okay season. Calvin Stengs has really not developed into a player I thought, and it is a risk you run when you don't lock in players, but it's harsh on Kuleveski to lock in Calvin Stengs, you know? So it was a player I was going to bring in for depth, and obviously, how many games did he actually play? He played, I mean, 14 appearances, in my opinion, is enough to try and prove yourself. And it's not bad, but not good enough at the end of the day. And I will say, we have been given a bit of a smaller budget now in total of £40 million for the 4th transfer window. And of course, the main aim is to win absolutely everything we can in that season. So we're going to try and make it happen. I really have got to focus now on not letting players go, but bringing players in. And at this rate, it might be cheaper players to attract more to really fulfill this bench. Let's get into season 4 transfers. With a small budget, we can only really attract 2 players. And the first one is going to be the instalment signing of this window. It's going to be Tino Livramento. Now, he's not developed incredibly well over this sort of the whole 4 years, but he cost us 30 million. Usually you're looking to spend about 70 to 80 on him, so that is why he's so cheap. And just for a backup left back and right back, again, you've got to imagine I'm trying to bring in options here for backup. When you've got a player that can play 3 positions, you've got to be bringing him in, especially when it's Livramento. A player I quite like in real life now, a bit underrated in my opinion, Anthony Gordon, coming in from Brentford and previously of Newcastle, Everton and Preston. This is going to be a player who actually looks really good. He's rapid on the ball, he's got good dribbling, good finishing, excellent composure, 25 years of age, he's English, so really good for registration, and he cost me only 36 million, and I just think having him as a backup is a really good shout. Now going into the tactics page, he actually, I don't know if he does get in, does he get in? He does get in, filtered by the best 11, you've seen it live. Vicario, Porro, Diamande, Romero, Udogi. What I love so far is this back 5 just never has changed, it's never needed to change. Tushinemi, Neves, Maddison, Kuleveski, Gordon and Heung-min Son. The bench now looking very, very strong. We've got options for every position, some really, really good players right now, and I do honestly think this team cannot win every trophy. I don't know if it can win every trophy. Not all of them back to back in terms of one season, but we're going to carry on a video till we do make that happen. So I'm confident we can win another 4 trophies, or 3 trophies to be fair. We of course have got the chance to do a sweep of 5, but let's get into season 4 and see what we can do. I'm going to make a prediction of a Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup and Community Shield. I think we're going to slip in the Champions League round of 16. We'll start off with the Premier League, shall we? Because that is the bread and butter, and we have won the Premier League again. That is 3 times in 4 years. Not too bad going at all. Again, a decent point advantage. We've got Heung-min Son now actually in the second top amount of goals being scored, 5 behind Erling Haaland. James Maddison, 17 assists, 7.51 from him. Anthony Gordon enjoying a great season in second place there. Again, the most clean sheets, and 2 players in first and second when it comes to the most assists. Now, it isn't the only thing we won. We actually did make it to the Champions League final against Man City, and we are going to win it. I'm not going to, not going to hide that fact. We got off to a great start here inside of 40 minutes. An immaculate set piece from James Maddison in the 80th minute, and again a set piece to wrap it up 3-0. What a game. We also win the FA Cup 4-0 against Leeds. We also win the Community Shield against Man City, which leaves 1 trophy, the Carabao Cup. Did we win it? If we won it, the video will end. Did we not win it? Let's go and find out. The Carabao Cup final, we did get there against Liverpool, and we get off to a very good start with Maddison again, who has been by far the player of this video. And you know what? We go 2-0 up inside of 70 minutes. A great ball there with Gordon, a great finish from them, and they can only get a consolation. That is right, we are going to win this final as well, meaning we have completed the challenge. That is going to be every single trophy we could physically win done in one season. The Premier League, the Champions League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup and the Community Shield. Firstly, be sure to leave a like. That is a big, big achievement. And again, you can come over to the Patreon and get this rebuild file, and your challenge, you probably guessed it, is to replicate what I have done in another season, because honestly, doing this back to back, you might be the best Football Manager player of all time. So try and give it a go. If you can't do it, I understand it is a big challenge, but I will say, going over to the squad, we are going to have a lot of good players here. We've got Heung-min Son with 34, Anthony Gordon, the player who a lot of people might have thought, Josh, what are you doing? What are you doing? It's not exactly great. Well, 27 goals, 15 assists, 26 and 16 for Maddison, Jimenez 19 and 4, 19 and 31 from Kuleveski, João Neves 10 and 23, 17 assists there for Pedro Porro. The best player is going to be Anthony Gordon. A very, very, very statement being made from him there, a big statement. And what I will say is, I think as good as he has been in this last season, my player of the rebuild is James Maddison. He is an incredible player. He has done everything he needed to do, and he has transformed this team, and we have transformed this team as well. I have left you with an absolute powerhouse of a team to go and play a Football Manager with. And again, if you're thinking, Josh, yeah, but Heung-min Son's going to be going, you've got 117 million to replace him. You've got more than enough money, so you can have a lot of fun with this rebuild file. Trust me, you can build an absolute dynasty here. But hopefully you have enjoyed today. If you have, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Comment what you thought of the rebuild. I don't really think it can be too bad because we've won everything, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.